we're going to start with just letting Tyler have the floor, go off, say whatever hate is in your heart, and your reaction to what happened today in Florida State being ranked 5th and left out of the playoff.
Wow, a lot of live listeners here today. This is great. Listen, I thought today was an absolute sham. I'm not mad at Bama or their fans. They won the games that were in front of them. The problem is that Florida State won the games that were in front of them as well. I feel like the playoff committee opened up a giant Pandora's box here, and they get a complete out because this is the last year they have to have a 4-team playoff. So they don't ever have to go back to this precedent once we get to the 12 teams in the playoffs. But it started 2 weeks ago when Jordan Travis got hurt, and Kirk Herbstreit, Matt Berry, Reese Davis, all these ESPN talking heads were getting on shows and saying Florida State doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs because Jordan Travis got hurt. They're a different team now, and they don't deserve the opportunity to play for a championship. And all Florida State went out and did is went on the road with a backup quarterback in a hostile environment at night, 90,000 fans, and covered a spread and won the game pretty, I wouldn't say easily, but handily over Florida, which wasn't a good team, admittedly. And then after a cheap shot in that game, the backup quarterback gets concussed, and so they're forced to start a third-string true freshman quarterback who's thrown 4 passes in his career against a top 15 team this weekend in an ACC championship game. And the defense played lights out. 20 tackles for loss over the last 2 weeks. Since Jordan Travis got hurt, the defense was on the field for 38 possessions against Florida and Louisville, and they allowed 1 touchdown off of a complete BS penalty where they got we don't have to get into that, but they've allowed 1. So essentially they allowed 0 touchdowns on 38 possessions since Jordan Travis got hurt. But the committee decided today to say, hey, look, we don't care about defense. We don't care about all the other players on your offense. We care about 1 player. And though we ranked Florida State 4 last week after Jordan Travis didn't already play, we decided to drop them this week after winning the ACC championship. And I just think it's complete bullshit. It incentivizes teams to lie. Florida State came out and said Jordan Travis is going to be out for the year. And had they known they were going to get left out solely because of that, then they could have just lied and said, hey, we're going to rest him for these 2 games and he'll be back for the playoff. You could tell me about Florida State's resume, and part of it is that they're in a weak ACC, but they went out and did the right thing and scheduled a really tough LSU team who was 5th ranked in the country, and they beat them by 21. They beat a 16th ranked Duke team who at the time was 5-1 ranked, and they beat them by 18. They beat a 14th ranked Louisville last night by 10 when they were actually 1.5 point underdogs by kickoff. They beat Clemson on the road by 7, only the 4th team in the last 10 years to beat Clemson on the road. And they had 2 wins with a backup quarterback and a third-string quarterback. And what the committee is telling you now is that if you don't reside in the Big Ten or the SEC, your games don't really matter. And you can tell me all you want about how Florida State wouldn't have beat Michigan or Washington or Texas because they didn't have Jordan Travis. You can tell me that all you want. You might be right. I don't think that they clearly wouldn't have been favored against either team. But these kids, Jordan Travis, Jared Verse, these kids came back for their senior year to play for a championship, and they did every single thing right in a Power 5 conference, went completely undefeated. And the committee basically told them, you know what? It's not enough because 1 player on your team, admittedly a very important player, isn't able to play for the rest of the year. And Jordan Travis, by the way, had to sit in a watch party waiting for his team to be sent to the playoff today. And after the saddest moment of his career where he breaks his leg and he's supporting his team, they come out and say, yeah, basically because he got injured, you guys, your teammates, your brothers don't get a chance to compete or participate in this playoff. And it's completely bullshit. And ever since the playoff has been invented 10 years ago, there's only been 2 Power 5 conference champions that have had a 1-loss team ranked ahead of them going into the playoff, and it was Florida State both times, 2014, and this time they're completely left out. And it's fucking bullshit. And I tell you what, these kids will probably, go out and have a great few practices before they play Georgia in the Orange Bowl. But you've already told them that all the games that actually were supposed to count during the season didn't count for them. So why the hell would they even care about this Orange Bowl? And honestly, I mean, to sit there and see Jordan Travis go out there today on Twitter and be like, yeah, I wish I would have broke my leg earlier so that this team could have proved that they're more than just me, and that he has to sit there and apologize for being injured because his team didn't get a chance is ridiculous. I know we've had Herb Street on this show, but my man has been out there for 2 weeks basically begging the committee to not put Florida State in. And I don't know what they were thinking, right, ranking them fourth last week. And if you want to say, yeah, but they're just not the best team, they're not the same team anymore, then why'd you rank them ahead of Georgia? Do you think they're better than Georgia now? Is that what we're saying? They're ranked fifth and Georgia's sixth, so Florida State's a better team than them. An injured player means more to the committee than a coaching staff that admitted to cheating, and their head coach was suspended for 6 games this year.
Number one overall seed.
Who actually put up less yards with a fully healthy team against Iowa than Florida State put up against Louisville with a third-string true freshman quarterback playing his first ever game. You can talk to me about strength of schedule, strength of record. Florida State actually had the best strength of record of any of the teams on the, including the ones that were shoo-ins to make it. Want to shout out Booger McFarland because he's the only ESPN talking head that has come out and said this is a complete travesty to the sport. It's become a beauty pageant. Everything is about money. We've talked about this for a long time. This is proof. Everything is about money. There is no – if you're in a Power 5 conference and you win all of your games, including your championship game, for someone to tell you, yeah, sorry, not good enough, is completely unacceptable. And I think that we've lost complete control of what we're actually we as fans should actually be caring about. And everyone's been bitching, including the two of us, about how the 12-team playoff makes it so the regular season – is diminished. It's already diminished. They don't care. They want the best matchup for their television ratings more than anything else. And so next year, if Clemson runs the table, who knows? I mean, maybe if they don't look good enough, if they're not putting up 60 points a game, maybe they get left out. I've been extremely frustrated with this, obviously, all day. Imagine a couple years ago when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Carson Wentz, who was having an MVP season, went down with a leg injury. If the NFL was like, sorry, we don't think our boy Nick Foles has what it takes to win a playoff game. So the Eagles this year, I'm sorry, unfortunately, will not be allowed to be in the NFL playoffs. That's a complete joke. And it's unfortunate. I mean, maybe it's another reason that Florida State could cite as to why they need to get out of the ACC. So maybe ultimately it's a long-term good thing. But I'm obviously devastated, like, as a Florida State fan, but I'm really, really hurt for the kids that put in all the work in the offseason all year long, fought through injuries. A lot of casual fans don't even realize that we didn't even have our 2 starting tackles playing pretty much all year. Keon Coleman was clearly hurt down the stretch. Jordan Travis obviously went out, and the team just kept finding ways to win. And it's really, really unfortunate that they didn't get put in. But I saw your tweet earlier about how that once Texas was shown as number 3, I knew, because I knew that they weren't going to leave the SEC out. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. It's really hard for me, honestly, to even get excited about talking about the Florida State Louisville game or anything like that, because none of it mattered. So it's tough, but congratulations to Florida State for winning the ACC. Really good season. I don't think Florida State's going to boycott their bowl game because they're already getting screwed out of money for being in the college football playoff. So I don't think they'd want to get screwed out of more money by not playing in the Orange Bowl. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Really tough, really tough day for a lot of people. Florida State players, coaches, people in Tallahassee, Florida State fans. It just sucks. So